So maybe I can start with welcoming everyone. I'm very pleased to be connected to this event virtually today, to be able to present what MIGA guarantee solutions are, and especially for the support of Ukraine. I have prepared a brief presentation for just everyone's benefit in terms of seeing the guarantee solutions and some project samples of what we have been supporting. So let me just mention that MIGA is the political risk insurance arm and credit enhancement arm of the World Bank Group. Our key focus is to promote foreign direct investments into countries. We do so through our non-commercial risk guarantees. So it's insurance for private investors. Okay, just, I can't see the full, okay, that should be, sorry about that. I'm just trying to see on the screen how to minimize. Okay, now I succeeded. So in this slide, just in a very quick overview of what we have been achieving in the past several decades working in globally. We have issued in the last fiscal year ending June 2023, $6.4 billion of new guarantees across the globe for 39 projects. And we have a outstanding portfolio of $27.9 billion. We can work across region and across sectors. And the way it works in terms of our key key parameters of our MIGA guarantee covers is that we will support either equity sponsors or lenders, or both actually, in the same project. These are offshore investments because we are promoting foreign direct investments. So the cross-border element is actually key for us to be involved in the project. We could support projects that are using different financial instruments. Here you have a list, but it's not exhaustive. So equity, quasi-equity, shareholder loan, swaps, or other debt instruments or hedging type of instruments, management contract, corporate guarantees, and so on, to invest into here Ukraine. The idea is for us to be able to cover up to 95% of the debt instrument and up to 90% of the equity type instrument. In terms of ticket size, we have supported small projects, and when I say small, is like, let's say, $1 or $2 million US, or euros or other hard currencies type of investment made, and over 1 billion ticket. Obviously, in the context of Ukraine, we need to think about what makes sense. And especially given the scarcity of reinsurance. And let me explain briefly what I mean by that. For us to be involved in projects, typically we take a portion of the exposure in our balance sheet, and we reinsure another portion of the exposure with our private reinsurance partners. In Ukraine, unfortunately, the scarcity of the reinsurance market has led us to find other ways for us to be able to, well, basically share the risk, so find other risk-sharing angles. One of them has been through a donor contribution that we have asked to pledge for us to be able to support meaningful size of coverages. And we have newly established, I mean, back in February of this year, Ukraine dedicated trust fund that is basically helping us to support project in Ukraine. We have utilized the first contribution we received from Japan at the time, 23 million US dollars. And we are in the process at the moment, as I speak, to raise a new donor contribution. We have received already some pledges from other countries. And we are in the process of finalizing that so that we can receive the funds and be able to use this donor contribution for us to support new projects all together with us, right? So we go as risk-sharing kind of mechanism, first loss from this donor contribution, and us also coming in and supporting the project. We can support project up to 20 years. We are here for long-term partnership in the project we support. We look into supporting projects that are in the space of climate finance as much as we can. It could be also to support local small and medium-sized enterprises, to support key priority activities, especially in the context of the war, and projects that also link to gender, women in business type of angles, or energy efficiency. So these are the sort of key priority areas that we tend to focus on. But obviously, let's think about how we can, in practice, help the country where it is at the moment and also in the future. So that's something that happy myself to receive your request for coverage. And then we can see what it means and how we can also together build up the rationale for supporting this project from a pure development impact perspective. So how we support the local population and the context, specific context of the war here. We use the same environmental and social performance standards as our sister institution, the IFC, if some of you are aware of that. And we also conduct integrity KYC checks on the parties involved, as well as a throughout type of analysis of the project viability and risk assessment. So why MIGA in terms of value added that we can bring into a project and be a key partner for you? We, first of all, have a robust history of resolving issues or like pre-claim situation that we have seen. We have looked at over 1,000 type of projects throughout our history, and consider 155 plus pre-claim situation. We have paid only a few claims, like things about like 10 claims. So we have really had this track record of finding amicable resolution of dispute, acting as a honest broker for the guarantee holders to be able to bring back projects, in trouble projects, into sustainable footing. And we do so specifically through our World Bank Group network. This is sort of World Bank Group umbrella, if I may say so, that has created some deterrence effect in some of those situations that were difficult at some point in the project lives. We are financially stable, part of the World Bank Group, with our unique structure of 189 member countries. We try to really find customized solution for investors and contexts, really trying to get to the next level of support, for example, through the trust fund mechanism that I was mentioning. We have created that also for like broader or like even for renewable energy support, for instance. We have also some other tools that we have been using to really go into untapped markets and really find how we can support projects in some of the challenging territories or situations. We have this really strong appetite, I mentioned, globally, supporting projects with long tenures of up to 20 years. And we have been using internationally recognized environmental, social, and also, I should add now, climate standards and best practice for our investors to really manage the reputational risk up front. Excuse me. So in terms of the political risk insurance, what do I mean exactly by that in terms of the risks that we can cover? We have 4 different risks: transfer restriction and currency convertibility, expropriation of funds and assets, the war and civil disturbance coverage, which is called also political violence or war risk insurance, and the breach of contract coverage. So for think here about the habitual award default that we cover. So in the case that there is a breach unilaterally by the government or government-owned entity, that could lead possibly to a termination of the contract. Think about power purchase agreement or concession type of agreement. And this will then lead to an arbitration process. An arbitral award will be rendered, and MIGA would compensate the amount that the guarantee holder is entitled to as per this arbitral award amount that has not been paid by the government. So in that case, MIGA will compensate that. We're also involved in the trade finance activity through our non-payment by public authority or government-owned entity of the obligation related to a cross-border trade transaction. And we have here established partnership with the EBRD and the IFC. So in terms of examples of what we have supported lately in Ukraine, we have been present in the financial sector, supporting the subsidiary of foreign group here, Raiffeisen Bank, but there is also ProCredit, by supporting the basically capital relief at the group level, a consolidated group level of the Ukrainian subsidiaries. And through that capital relief, being able to the subsidiary based in Ukraine to lend more into the country, or at least to really sustain the lending activity, especially in the working capital type of lending, and specifically also in the priority industries and the SME sectors. We have supported also in the past projects in the manufacturing, agribusiness, and services sector, such as the CanPack. Here, we supported the equity investment made into CanPack Ukraine for up to 15 and then 20 years. The cover was extended against all the 4 risks. I mean, 3 risks actually for such projects. So expropriation, currency convertibility and transfer restriction, and war and civil disturbance. Another example of projects in that type of similar sector is Landman in Ukraine, also supporting the equity investment made. And the project was 6.4 million euros for up to 10 years. And more recently, in September, we supported the M10 Industrial Park. So it's a logistic center with hand in hand, or I would say in collaboration with our partner institution, the EBRD. We have used our establish a trust fund, the SURE TF, so the Ukraine dedicated trust fund for Ukraine, as the first loss. This project was also from equity and shareholder loan here, $9.1 million for 10 years. And the war and civil disturbance risk was covered. I mentioned about the trade finance involvement with EBRD. We also have it for the IFC. Maybe let me just add here about the process. If you're interested in applying for MIGA guarantees, how does it work exactly? Well, the best way is to contact me. I'm the key contact person for that. So what we're going to do then is we'll be having some initial discussion to understand about the project, the needs that you have in terms of coverages and how we can support this. Then typically we ask for us to be mandated through what we call the definitive application. There is a fee that applies here of $10,000 US. This fee is then deducted from the first contract period premium that is paid at the very inception of the contract once it's signed with us. So you get it back essentially after the process is completed. We have a process here of early screening of the project that goes to our credit committee for initial approval, then a deeper kind of analysis through our due diligence process. And then we go back to a committee for final approval. Then we have our board approval, and then we can sign the contract of guarantees. In terms of how long this process could take, obviously it varies from project to project. It depends on the level of complexity of the project and readiness, I would say, of the project. But maybe think of 4-6 months, roughly. We try to be faster. Sometimes we are. For example, Raiffeisen transaction was a good example of us being able to do it in like 3 months, I think it was, of all. But it depends on projects and the level of understanding, knowledge that we have. Raiffeisen Bank was a repeat client of us, for instance. So ProCredit, same. So we do disclose the projects in our website. This is part of the requirement for a certain period of time. That is, it depends on the nature of the project and the riskiness in terms of environmental and social aspects. And we inform the government, so Ukrainian government, about what we are intending to provide as a guarantee through our host country approval process. We do that for every single transaction. Here is my contact details. We have a specific Ukraine response page on our on the website of MIGA website that I'm encouraging all of you to have a look at. And this presentation can be shared with you after this event. And I'm happy again to discuss further as needed. So please contact me afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zoki. And I would like to ask you one question about the timing and possibilities to applicate with the project. So do you have any strict timing or possibilities to apply, or businesses could apply at any moment just by the need?
Yes, so in terms of the timeline, please come to us. We can discuss about what it means exactly, depending on the project that you have, the timing of also the investment that you intend to be making. Maybe sometimes it's in different phases. So we can look at that and what the sort of implication would be. Something to bear in mind that I was mentioning earlier in my presentation is given the scarcity of the private reinsurance market at this time in Ukraine, or for Ukraine, we have been we have been asking some donor pledges to support the risk sharing the exposure that we take in Ukraine. And we are still in the process, as I was saying, to kind of receive more contribution from our donors. So that has also an impact on the dynamic at play when it comes to supporting new projects. So the best way would be to contact me, and then we can discuss what it means in terms of the overall dynamic, because this is a very fluid situation, as you could imagine. We receive updates on a regular basis, like every week, about next contribution we'll be receiving and when, and how we are processing also currently new batch of projects that will hopefully end of this calendar year or early next year be finalized. So that will be, so we need to think about like what's the overall dynamic of that could be for you transaction. But again, we can always start the process of discussing, understanding better the needs, starting the sort of preliminary assessment of your project. And then once we have that done, we can see what it means in terms of finalizing the underwriting process and issue the guarantee afterwards. So what would be the sort of timeline for that? Yeah, sorry for not being more explicit here, but the situation has different parameters that are fairly dynamic and fluid, and that's the reason why things have been working that way at this time.
So it's clear message that it's best way just to contact you directly and ask all the questions. So thank you very much, Annabele, for being here with us today.